I'm Rebecca Davis, a weird, scary, and interesting. And today I'm going to be reading A Christmas Story. I got a book here on my Apple Reader called Christmas Stories. Let's do that. I'll do that, the Christmas stories. Okay. Christmas Stories by Arnie Lightning. Okay. Christmas all year. For Santa Claus and everyone at the North Pole, a lot of preparation goes into each Christmas, as you might imagine. Santa and his army of elves aren't just busy one night of the year. They work the whole year through building toys, reading letters from children all over the world, completing the two most famous lists in the whole world: the naughty list, the nice list, and the much feared naughty list. Before the toys can be built through the newest gadgets and games have to be invented and then tested to make sure they are safe. Seeing how popular paintball was with older kids, and particularly eager young elf named Wendell recently tried to invent what he called a paint bouzouki. Mr. Claus is still trying to get the bright orange paint off the walls in the workshop and off of Wendell. Once the toys are triple checked for safety, they're categorized and are engraved by children. According to time zone, the individual load into Santa's famous magical bag, which can hold all of the toys at once because it is much bigger on the inside than on the outside. Each of the 8 reindeer is kept in top physical shape at all times due to a strict diet, healthy exercise. Every time the kitchen elves are all chefs from the best cooking schools in the world. And the gym at the North Pole offers the best workout on Earth. Not that Santa ever steps on the treadmill. He's a magical creature powered especially by milk and cookies. And if his belly didn't jelly jiggle like a bowl full of jelly, then it just wouldn't be right. 1 week before Christmas, Santa's sleigh is taken apart. Each and every bolt is inspected. And then put back together. Replaced every piece showing signs of wear and tear that the sleigh has to travel. The world at warp speed and be on 100% reliable because Santa will never allow a good boy or girl to be disappointed on Christmas morning, and even Santa is only as good as his tools. So he keeps the sleigh in tip-top shape. The basic route Santa takes to visit each children even changes it very much. But new people in new homes come into the world all the time. So Santa makes practice runs several times throughout the year to keep himself safe, to make sure he shows where everyone is. So if you find cookies missing from your cupboard, even in June or July, Santa may have helped himself to a snack during a practice. Aha. Santa takes a lot of notes on how best to incorporate the new spots and reworks the route with great detail. Delivering toys to several billion people in a single evening is not the kind of thing you can just make up on the fly. Santa always likes to say a failure to a plan is a plan for a failure. It takes a lot of preparation, a lot of work to make sure everything is perfect. But Santa hasn't missed a single child on a single Christmas yet. If you believe in him, then he believes in you. He can't wait to bring you gifts. Just remember to read him some milk and cookies for Santa Claus. Christmas is very hungry work. So you're gonna leave? Do you still believe in Santa? Okay, let's move. Christmas activity. What do you want for Christmas? Grab a pencil and paper and make a list for Santa. When you are finished, give your list to your parents and ask them to mail it to the North Pole. Okay. This one is Santa Trap. Simon Ills is a terribly bright young man, but he had not been a good boy this year, and he knew it. He was guilty. He had been acting out at school and at home. He was rude to his teachers and classmates. He ignored his parents whenever he didn't like what they had to say. In the past 12 months, he had spent more of his life in time out than in time in. There could be no other judgment handing down from the North Pole. He was on the naughty list. Knowing this, Simon expected to receive nothing in his stocking this Christmas but a lump of coal. He knew he wouldn't be getting a new bike or a video game. Not even a stick of gum was coming his way. It was cold this year for sure. Simon knew all of this, but he did not intend to take it lying down. If Santa wanted to give him a shameful lump of black rock, the big guy in red was going to have to work for it. Simon started with the obvious. Santa lands on the roof before shimmying his way down the fireplace to leave his gifts. Everyone knows this. Well, not this year. Not if Simon had anything to say about it. Simon borrowed his dad's ladder while his parents were at work. He climbed up to the roof and went about covering every inch of the thing in non-stick cooking spray. Ooh. When he was done, the roof was much slicker than ice. Robin tried to land on the roof and whoosh, slid right off immediately with a very confused look on its face. If a bird can't sit up there, he thought, Santa doesn't stand a chance. Next, Simon went to work on the chimney. Oh no. He had made a volcano for the science fair last year, producing lots and lots of bubbly, in brackets, lava by combining baking soda and vinegar. That seemed like it would do the trick. Simon dumped several dozens boxes of baking soda into the fireplace, then lowered a number of Ziploc bags filled with vinegar into the chimney. Any attempt to shimmy down it would break the bags and fill the entire living room and fireplace with foamy liquid. Next, he ran fishing lines all around the Christmas tree, just a few inches off the ground. He then baited his trap with milk and cookies. It is well known that Santa could not resist milk and cookies. Then he went for delicious snacks. He snagged the line with his skinny black boots and fell to the ground, where he would jiggle like a bowl full of jelly. Simon went to bed on Christmas Eve feeling quite proud of his work. But then something strange happened. He started feeling very remorseful. He felt bad for trying to trap Santa. Santa hadn't done anything wrong. Simon was the naughty one, and then he felt bad for acting out at school. His teachers were just trying to help him learn. His parents loved him. Why was he punished? Why was he punishing them? What was he so angry about? He didn't have an answer for why he had been so naughty yet. But he knew he could fix it. And he knew he had to start by taking apart his terrible bobby pins. He ran downstairs, grabbed a pair of scissors, and started frantically cutting the fishing lines. He then he turned to the fireplace and started shoveling baking soda out of it. He was trying to come up with a plan to fix the roof. Then something caught his eye. The milk and cookies were gone. Simon spun and looked behind the Christmas tree. Then he saw adorning with a big red bow. A brand new bicycle, just the kind he wanted, just the right size, just the right color. Simon walked up to the bike and saw a small note on it. The note read, "Dear Simon, I know you're a good boy underneath it all. Let's try to show other people this year too. Merry Christmas, Santa Claus." Simon smiled and looked up towards the chimney and saw, "I will, Santa, I promise." Somewhere in the distance, Simon was sure he heard the perfect laugh. Ho, ho, ho! My roommate's laughing. They imitated Saint Nick. Okay. Here's another Christmas story called Christmas of the Future. Every couple of years, a young and hard-strung elf will come to Santa and tell him how to make Christmas a more modern event than always. Have big plans, and they always think they're the first elf to ever try and change things. Santa is a patient man, of course, and kind. He always listens to what each of his elves has to say. He never rushes them or complains. This year it was an elf named Warren that came to Santa with his idea for what he called Christmas of the Future. We'll deal with the wardrobe for starters, I think, said Warren. Santa nodded and took a bite of chocolate hip cookie and said, "All right, we're really slept operating, and right, we sneak in and out of places like thieves in the night. Except instead of stealing things, we leave presents, so we're not like thieves in that way. We're actually the exact opposites of thieves when you think about it like that. The point is, we slip in and out unnoticed, but we're wearing bright red. It's not even maroon, sure, sir. It's bright red. We're elves, not much better off. We're wearing bright green, and half of us have bells on our hats. Bells that are possible that there's a reason ninjas don't wear red or bells, sir. So I'm thinking black. Shirtless ninja. Head to toe, we're dressed in black. Leather is a good option. It's warm and also looks really cool. You want a black leather Santa? Asked Santa. For starters, Warren continued. Next, we should address the sack full with toys. You don't think I should give out toys? Santa asked, generally confused. Warren corrected him. Of course you should give out toys, but when was the last time you saw someone carrying important things in a sack? Sacks are pretty much accessible for potatoes and laundry, and only dirty laundry at that. What about magic briefcases? Oh boy. Classy, right? Also black, of course. Oh, maybe a nice messenger bag. The sack works very well, Santa said. Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. It's not wild about the image. I'm just not wild about the image. We're going for more associated Santa. The Santa of the 21st century. What else do you dislike, Warren? Santa asked kindly. Well, the reindeer. Seems like an awful invict and smelly way to travel. These days, smelly way to travel. You don't see a lot of vehicles drawn by animals these days. Those reindeer travel the entire globe and make millions of stops in a single night. That's quite effective. And they smell lovely. Mrs. Claus keeps them bathed in rose hips and lavender. Okay. Um, Rose hips and lavender, asks Warren. This does sound lovely, I understand. That seeing system works. I love that it works, Santa. I just think you should make it more modern. Santa smiled warmly at his elf and said, Christmas is not modern, Warren. It is not old. It is not new. It is timeless. It is season of pure magic. It is a day built of love and kindness, things that look and feel, and is identical today. They were 100 years ago. Well, be 100 years from now. That is the way it is, and it is unchanged, even as the world is always changing around us. Warren listened closely and took Santa's word to heart. He knew the big guy was right, and Warren loved Santa even more for showing him the way. He gave Santa a big bear hug and said, You're right, sir, of course you're right. He took a pause and then said, Will you just consider the briefcase? Though I hate that sack. Santa laughed, his signature laugh, and said, I will consider it, Warren. Warren smiled and went back to work building happiness for all the world's children, which he knew was pretty great job in every century. Warren has some imagination. Leathered Santa? Really? Okay. Okay, we'll continue on. My father's Christmas surprise. This year, the only thing I asked Santa Claus for was he helps my dad to see how wonderful Christmas can be. Dad used to love Christmas the most. He'd pick out the biggest tree he could find, and we spend the whole day decorating it just right with ornaments he'd been collecting since he was my age. He and Mom would make it all the sweetest in the world, fudge and sugar cookies and fruitcakes that no one ever ate, because fruitcake's disgusting. He put so many twinkle lights on the house it could been seen from space. He threw a party every year where all his and Mom's friends would come over wearing the ugliest, loudest Christmas sweaters they could find. They'd all drink really gross thing called eggnog. Eggnog yummy. Until the wee hours of this morning. Then on Christmas morning, you would even be able to see the giant tree, because the presents he bought my mom and my sister and me were stacked so high they blocked it out. But after Mom left us a few years ago, Dad stopped loving Christmas. He stopped decorating, baking, and spending most of December just watching TV in the dark. Whenever anyone could say Merry Christmas to him, he would only say, "Humbug!" I miss the sweets, and the lights, and the presents, and mostly, I just miss seeing my dad so happy. So this year I wrote Santa a letter and just asked him to remember my dad, how joyful we used to be. I don't know what I expected Santa to do really, but definitely didn't expect this. There was a knock on the door around 9 p.m. on December 23rd. Dad answered to find Santa standing there. The fluffy white beard and the big red coat and belly that jiggled like a bowl full of jelly. The whole deal. "Are you collecting for Salvation Army or something?" Dad asked. "Because I already gave to at work." "Ho, ho, ho!" Santa laughed in that way that Santa can't. And, "No, Michael. I'm just here to ask if you like to go for a ride." Santa stepped to the side and revealed his sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer that perfectly parallel parked in front of our house. Dad frowned his brow, not sure where this was going. "Who are you?" he asked. I was stunned. "I think he's pretty clear who he is, Dad," I said. "It's simply not possible," Dad said. He then thought for a few seconds and said, "I mean, this is Santa's busy season. He couldn't be here no time." Santa laughed again and said, "Not to worry." He then called back to his reindeer and said, "Do a loop-de-loop, please, boys." The deer immediately took flight. They went straight into the air and made a wide, beautiful circle in the sky, and then landed again just where they had begun. Dad stared at the sight in disbelief for a few moments, then said, "I'll get my coat." Next thing I knew, we were flying through the air. Suddenly we were soaring over New York City. Then, in the blink of an eye, we were flying over London, then Paris. It was amazing. "So this is what magic looks like," Dad said. Santa laughed and said, "This is nothing. You want to see some real magic?" Dad said he did, and in a flash we were flying low over our hometown. We saw our neighbor, Mr. Noble, delivering Christmas meals to seniors. He saw people singing carols in the streets and uniformed Marines collecting toys for children. That's what real magic is, Santa said. It's just people loving and caring for one another. That the most powerful magic there is. Then Santa parked in front of our house again and looked at me and said, "Thank you for the letter, young man." I said, No, thank you. I hugged Santa as hard as I ever hugged anyone, and then Dad hugged us both at the same time. I saw he was crying a little. Dad said, "Thank you, Santa, and Merry Christmas." And as quickly as he had come, Santa was gone. Dad looked down at me and said, "You're the best kid ever. You know that now. That see if we can find those twinkle lights." Okay. Christmas activity. The Christmas is a magical time of the year. It is so much fun getting new toys and presents, but also fun helping others. Do you know of anyone in need this holiday? With help of a parent or family member, try to help someone in need this Christmas. You can buy them a gift and make a gift, or just do a good deed for them. It is the thought that counts. Okay, there's another one. Toughness gift. Toughness gift. Just a few days before Christmas this year, Santa Claus held an emergency staff meeting. Every single elf in the North Pole gathered in the workshop to hear the big guy had to say. "This is odd," said Gwen, an elf who worried all the time about everything. "Odd time, I mean. We're on a deadline. Do you think he's gonna fire us all? Have we done the worst job ever? Maybe he's canceling Christmas this year. Why could he do that? This is all horrible." Brandon, an elf so cool, he is in charge of making sunglasses for little boys and girls across the world, handing Gwen, "Hi, Snowy," a fresh baked chocolate chip cookie and said, "Easy there, Gwen. It's all good all the time. No worries. I'm sure everything is fine, just fine." Gwen chewed on the delicious snack and said, "Of course, no worries. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but does it get anywhere?" She then worried that she'd been unkind towards the rocking chairs. She made a mental note to apologize to the chairs next time she saw them. Then Santa appeared, dressed all in red and jolly as ever. "Ho, ho, ho!" he laughed, putting every elf at ease. "Thank you all for gathering for me. I've asked you to meet here because I have a problem." Gwen chewed faster and faster on the cookie. "I knew there was a problem. Oh, this is a disaster," but Brandon just smiled at her. Santa continued, "I'm generally well, knowing as a good gift giver, you know. It's kind of my thing, which is great. Giving is wonderful and I love it so much, but it also kind of lost the pressure. Oh, heavens no, Gwen shouted. He's retiring. We're doomed. Santa laughed again. No, Gwen, I'm so sorry to have scared you. I'm not retiring. I'm just asking for your help. I have no idea what to give Mrs. Claus for Christmas this year. We've been married for hundreds of years. That's a long time. And I love her more today than I did on her wedding day. But I've given her so many things that I'm out of ideas. And she deserves the best gifts in the world. I could not make Christmas happen without her. The elves started shouting ideas. Jewelry, said one. Perfume, said another. New glasses, yelled the third elf. Santa nodded at each suggestion, but it was clear that none of these things were quite right. Then Brandon, the coolest elf of them all, raised his hand. Yes, Brandon, Santa said, you have a gift idea. No, sir, Brandon said. But I think Gwen does. Gwen squinted and squalled, worried that everyone was looking at her and she was going to mess this up. But she was brave too, and she said, well, Mrs. Claus works so hard. She takes care of all of us and all the time without us even asking. What I think she probably would like the most is a vacation. Somewhere warm, I think, where people take care of her like she always take care of us. Santa smiled warmly and said, that's absolutely perfect, Gwen. Thank you. I'll take her to Hawaii, to a spa. We'll leave tomorrow. The elves were all stunned in silence, but Gwen raised her hand to get Santa's attention again. Yes, said the big guy in red. Tomorrow, Gwen said. Well, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Santa said, of course it is. Why do you mention it? All the elves laughed. And then Santa figured it out. He laughed too. Ho, 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 ho. Of course, I'll be a tad busy tomorrow. We'll leave the next day. We'll all go, all of us elves. The elves all cheered. Everyone, including Mrs. Claus, deserved a little time off now and again. Some jokes here, the Christmas jokes here. Why does Santa go down the chimney? Because it suits him. Why do snowmen most about going to school? Snow and tell. What's Santa called when he takes a rest while delivering presents? Santa Paws. When is a good time for Santa to visit? Anytime. What song does Santa elves sing to him when he comes home freezing on Christmas night? Freeze, a jolly good fellow. Why could the skeleton go to the Christmas party? He had no body to go with. Buddy to go with. No body to go with. How did the chickens dance at the Christmas party? Chick to chick. He delivers presents to baby. Who delivers presents to baby sharks at Christmas? Santa Jaws. Why is a cat on a beach like Christmas time? Christmas. Because they both have sandy claws. Why did Rudolph wear sunglasses at the beach? Answer: he didn't want to be recognized. What do snowmen eat for breakfast? Snowflakes. Why did they call Santa after he lost his pants? Saint Nicholas. What nationality is Santa? North Polish. What can Santa give away and still keep? A cold. How do sheep in Mexico say Merry Christmas? Feliz Navidad. Where does Frosty the Snowman keep his money? In the snowbank. Why is it so cold at Christmas? Because it's December. What is Tarzan's favorite Christmas song? Jungle Balls. Jungle Bells, I mean. What's Scrooge's favorite Christmas game? Me not Monopoly. How does Santa Claus take pictures? With his North Polaroid. What did let's try this. What did Mrs. Claus say to Santa Claus as they were looking out the window? Looks like reindeer. Like reindeer? Okay. Which reindeer has the worst manners? Rudolph. Rudolph. What does Santa call that reindeer with no eyes? No eye deer. What was the hairdresser's favorite Christmas song? Oh, come all ye faithful. Who delivers cat Christmas presents? Santa Claus. Claus. Because they have claws. What is red then white and then red then white? Santa rolling down a snowy hill. Okay, we're done. Hopefully you like that and found the stories interesting, the jokes funny. And hopefully you have a good Christmas and whatever other holidays you're celebrating. So Merry Christmas. And see you later. See you another time. Bye.